and you should be able to see it. You have to go to my channel though. But
It
back at
brings
it
it up for me.
again, boys. Back at it again.
What's that robot?
The one that's walking by me.
Yes. The blue one that just
It's
left you?
the one that's, well, hang on. I'll show it to you like this. So this is the place that I'm having a hard time building at, and these are the stairs that
Mhm.
you can't get rid of. It will not allow you to get rid of them. You can't move this fucker, which sucks.
The
Um,
ladder?
yeah, the ladder you
Interesting.
can't move, and you can't do anything with this twisted cow because the game just won't let you.
Mm. And is it discolored because of because of the radiation, I guess?
That, and I don't think it really has any fur. So, well, there's a
But
little bit of fur, but it's basically more or
um
less it's like a ball, like a shaved cat, kind of that same concept. Um,
but I wouldn't expect a cow to be that color when it
you wouldn't expect a cow to have two heads now, would you?
that's a very good point. And the tits are weird too.
Yeah. We'll. So, um, this is one of the. If I go to my map, hopefully you can see this.
The
So
graphics are
I'm.
nice on it too.
It's very good. So right here is where I'm at. It's called Outpost Simonja. This is where I have all of my caravanners, which would be this person and the Brahmin that it's with. So that initially is a settler that, well, if the Brahmin gets out of the way. So this is a settler that
Don't care
lives
much for food,
here
neighbor. That
that I
place
turned into
is
a
nothing but
caravaner.
trouble.
The caravaner is immortal and cannot die, which is great. So if I go to my
And
map, oh,
and what
go ahead.
that's him that you said is the caravaner?
Yeah, the person with the blue shirt and the helmet. This one.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so if I go to my map, and then I click, I think it's R2, or no, it's L2. No, it's L1. I'm stupid. So, um, all the lines are where the caravanners go to. So
Um
each of
oh,
these,
there it is.
yeah, yours is slightly delayed. Your visual is slightly delayed
I'm trying to make sure what
by
you're saying
about.
is catching up. I'm
It's
like,
yeah,
no.
yours is probably about 3 or 4 seconds delayed because it's like uploading it to YouTube while I'm doing it, so it's got a
Yeah.
time delay. So
Yeah.
right here is where we're at, Outpost Simonja, and then all the lines are where my caravanners go. So all of these individual pieces are all places that I've been. If I zoom in like so, this place right here with the skull, this is actually it's a not a raider camp. It's a, well, it's kind of a raider camp, but it's a raider group that I actually am in control of. Because one of the DLCs, you go to a place called Nuka World.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the um, main drinking substances is called Nuka Cola.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, funny play on words. But
Mm-hmm.
basically, you go there, and then you can either liberate the entire park to just be caravanners and traders and stuff, or you can have different raider gangs own specific parts of the uh, the amusement park, which I did. And once you do that, it gives you the option because they're all upset because they can't expand their territory. They're like, well, we want to go out in the Commonwealth. So you can go to different places that you can have settlements, such as this place called Nordhagen Beach, and you can make a raider camp there. Um, so we'll go like this.
And is this what you're on right now? This is your Pit Boy thingy
Yes, it's
that
basically a
I'm always
handheld.
hearing about?
Yeah, it's basically a handheld computer. It's like in Skyrim. It's kind of like your pop-up menu when you pause the game and go to like inventory, your spells and all that
My
stuff.
map
That's
and okay.
that's literally what this is. It's just more
Okay.
high tech. So, like, oh, I'm clicking the wrong one. So you've got like your status for your character. That's gonna have all of your specific.
Can you show me
Um,
the actual thing?
yeah, it just takes a second. It'll load as
Okay.
soon as I'm hitting the wrong button. That's why it's flashing the supply lines,
Gotcha.
which is probably what you're at.
No, I'm seeing the little uh guy walking in the status
Okay,
bar.
so um, the each do you see the little green bars that go around the character?
Mm-hmm.
Those are for your specific limbs. The top one's going to be your head, and then you've got your arms, which are going to be left and right. Your torso, I believe, is the very bottom one, and then your feet are the other two that are across from each other. I think that's how that
Mm-hmm.
works. I never really got
I
into
guess
that
it's
depth, but
oh,
you've got your HP, so how much life you have. You've got your level
and that's okay.
down at the bottom, and then you've
Yeah,
got
I saw that.
AP. AP is basically like stamina in Skyrim.
Okay.
It's your action points. They're called action points, but it's more or less like your stamina.
Hmm.
Um, and then it'll have underneath where your limb meter is. You've got your gun, which doesn't specifically tell you what gun, but it tells you how much damage it does, which is the little number next to it. Which I
Which is a
think.
182 on your screen.
Oh, whoop! I'm. Give me a sec. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how to zoom in. Crap! How did I do that again? Oh, how did I do that? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I zoomed it in. It'll take a second before it actually zooms in so you can see the numbers.
Okay.
So you've got the gun you're using, how much damage it does, and then you've got for the helmet that's going to be your armor or your resistances. So the shield one, the first number is going to be your ballistic defense. So that's going to be like melee and bullets. The second one is going to be your
Mm-hmm.
energy defense, which is going to be energy weapons. It's pretty self-explanatory. Which would include
Mm-hmm.
grenades and some other weapons that you'll find as you progress. Um, you've got down at the bottom, you've got a stim pack, which is basically like your health potion. You've got a rat
Mm-hmm.
away, which is kind of like your, I guess, cure disease, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then triangle is your perk chart. So, bam, perk chart. And it's cool because when you get the game, you actually get this as a it's inside the game case. So you get to see what the perks are. It doesn't tell you what they do, but the way it works is this whole top row is going to be your special traits, which is it's got a description in each one of the boxes as you go, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be your strength, so how much you can carry or melee weapon using melee weapons. You've got perception, which is going to be affects weapon accuracy in VATs, which I'll explain in a little bit, and allows you to see enemies further on uh, your compass.
Sixth
So
sense.
basically, it like in Skyrim, you know how like enemies appear as red dots.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to see red dots from a further distance. They'll pop up on your compass faster because you'll be able to see them faster. Endurance is going to be your overall health and action point drain from sprinting, so it's going to be basically your increase in stamina and health. And then you've got charisma. It's going to be obviously your success for speech, as well as barter. So it'll increase how much prices go up or down depending on how high the skill is. You've got intelligence, so how smart you are. Um, and it affects the number of experience points you get when you level up or when you get
Ah.
experience. So, let's say normally you kill a Yaogwai, which is a bear. It's brown bear. You kill a Yagwai, normally you'd get like 50 experience. With 10 intelligence, you'll get 65. Something along those lines. Um,
Huh.
and then you've got agility, which affects how fast you move, how fast you recover your action points, and increases your ability to sneak. Luck is going to be more or less your ability to find items and
Which you're
increase
at 7 out of 10? Oh no, or that
6
was
out of 10.
agility.
Yeah, 6. And then it increases the recharge rate of doing critical hits. So there's a bar when you use VATS, which I'll show you. Um, right. Oh, okay. So right now I'm zoomed in on the cow. This is technically time is super slowed.
And that's a Brahmin?
Yes, it's
What is a
um,
bat?
what is it?
Yeah.
It's the cow, the two-headed cow. You just can't see all of it.
Oh.
All right, so I'll do this turret. So when you do VATS, it's called the Vault Tech uh, Assisted Targeting System. It's kind of a funky one. But what it does is it allows you to choose specific parts on a target to specifically shoot. So instead of just shooting and hitting the whole target, you can pick select pieces. So if you're aiming it like a human, like if I go back over here, so you've got the torso, and then if you use the left analog stick, you've got the right arm, the left arm, the legs, and if you're lucky, sometimes not always, but you can get the head, and then there's another one. I don't know if they have a mod for it or not, but at least in the Fallout 3 version, you could aim at someone's gun. But I think maybe my line of sight was bad, so we'll try again. No, I guess not. Okay, I guess I took that out. So, let's see. Nothing over there. Alright, hey, there's somebody else in here. Other than just me. Alright, and then, so from status, you've got your special points, which are going to be your strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. And the highest you can technically get is 10. By every time you level up, you get a point. If you put it into that, the highest you can get is technically 10. But if you can get if you can get armor, you can put, like, my hat gives me +1 charisma, and my glasses give +1 perception. So my perception is now 11, and then my charisma is 10 plus, but the actual number is lower. But because of the items I'm wearing, I get an increase. You've got perks, so it's got a list of every perk you have, which is kind of the same thing they do in Skyrim. And then it'll even tell you like the level. So, like this, yeah. So like medic. Medic's one of the perks you can get in the perk tree. It increases how much health you get back from using a stim pack. And it also increases the amount of radiation you lose when you use a Radaway. So the higher the level, like if I were to hit R1, it'll tell me how much it gives me for the next rank. And then the next rank after that, all the way up until it's maxed out. There's the perk chart is very large. It actually scrolls down quite a bit.
Jeez.
Yeah. Each time you level up, you get a perk. You choose a perk to either
And
put
what
a
you're
point.
scrolling through now until you just got to the bottom of the pan train?
Yes, those are all of this entire page. I just scrolled down is all the perks you can get in the game. I don't have all of them because I'm not a high enough level. Because you can actually pick and choose which perks you end up getting as you level up. So, for instance, let's say you had 6 strength.
Hmm.
What'll happen is if you look where I have Iron Fist highlighted, but I don't have the actual perk. If you look down at the bottom, it says requires strength 1. So as long as you
Hmm.
meet the requirement, so if you had a 6 for your strength, you could get the strong back perk at level 1 because you have the required amount of strength to get that perk. And
So
that
so
that
then
goes. Go ahead.
so since you have six, you can't get the Iron Fist,
No,
or could you?
I can. What it basically a requirement is going to be obviously what is needed for that specific thing. So, like in a comparison is like in
Uh,
Skyrim, when you go to build a piece of armor, you need specific things for that armor. If you
mhm.
don't meet the requirements, if you don't have the items that are necessary, you can't build that item.
Gotcha.
But in
Okay.
this game, it's a little bit different. If let's say I have 6 strength, which mine's at 7, I can get this perk because it only requires 1, but I have 7, and it doesn't. It's not like if I obtain the Iron Fist perk, I lose a strength point. It's not like I'm using one to get it. I just need a point of strength to get the Iron Fist perk. And
Hmm.
then as you um, like the rank 2 version of Iron Fist requires you to be level 9 and have a strength of 1, and then it'll go up as you level it up. So the next rank at rank 3 is 18 with 1 strength, 31 and 1 strength, and then 45 and 1 strength. It escalates
Ow.
off of your level, but the amount of required strength doesn't change, and I believe that works for all the perks, which is really nice because let's say you start off with we'll do we'll do endurance. So let's say at the start of the game you max out your endurance. At level 1 or the next time you level up, you can pick solar powered as a perk because you need 10 endurance to get the first perk. And then as you level up, you've got level 27 is the next rank, and then level 50 is the rank after. And that's as far as that goes. Um, some perks actually require what was it? Oh nope, actually I think that was it. That pretty much sums it up. Um, as the perks go up in rank, they become better. Pretty self-explanatory. Um,
Mhm.
the perks, like you can choose any assortment of perks you want um, in whatever order you decide you want to go. There's no direct. It's not like you have to pick a specific perk unless you're going for a specific perk. If that makes sense, you don't have to spend a perk point um, to obtain a perk unless you're going for a specific perk. So like, if you're trying to be really uh, really good at persuading people, right? If you'd like, you can max out your charisma, and then on the next time you level up, you could get um, animal friend, which basically allows you to pacify uh, animals such as like rabid dogs or some smaller insects and stuff, as long as they're a lower level than you. If they're of your level or lower, I believe that's how that works. If they're anything higher than your level, it probably won't work. And obviously, as you get higher with the second rank, you can successfully, if you successfully pacify an animal, you can then tell it to attack something. So it basically becomes non-hostile towards you, and you can command it to attack something. And then for the third rank, if you were to do it, you can incite it to attack, as well as you can have it do something else. As far as what, that kind of depends on what it allows you to get. Because, like, when you do it, like, the robot is mine. I built it. So I can go and click command, and the flashing arrows where my reticle is where it would go if I were to tell it to go. So if I tell it to go over here, that's basically what you get to do with the animal friend perk, but you get to do it to animals instead. And as far as I know,
wait there.
If you click X, he'll stay there until you go and tell him to follow you again.
Come on.
So, like with the robot, I can actually incite it to pick something up. So if I were to drop something on the ground, like let's say, we'll drop this rifle. So if I were to command it, I can tell it to get the railway rifle. It'll walk over, the railway rifle will disappear, and then if I go to trade,
Let's take a look at what you've got.
There it is. He picked it up. So it's an interesting way to have an unlimited carrying weight as well, because you can use that to pick things up. And what's nice is when he picks it up, unless you physically trade it to him, if he picks it up in the way that I just had him pick it up, it doesn't actually weigh anything. So you can just have him keep picking stuff up, which is pretty nice. As far as like different ammo types, ooh, let me back out. I'll go into my menu so you can see a little bit better. So if I scroll over to, you've got different ammo types. You've got 308, which is usually for rifles. It's a fairly decent sized bullet. You've got 38 rounds, 44, 45, 45-70, 50 caliber, 10 millimeter, 2 millimeter electric cartridges, which are used for energy weapons. You've got standard 5.56, which is a NATO round. You've got 5 millimeter, which is for miniguns. 7.62, which is for some hunting rifles and assault rifles. You've got there's actually a naval cannon you can get and fire it at enemies. That's pretty fun. You've got flamethrower fuel, fusion cores, which are used for power armor, but it'll also be used for generators, which I'll have to show you in a little bit. But we'll fast travel to one of the other places I have, and that way I can show you a little bit more. Any questions so far?
No, I think I'm understanding if there is anything if I do decide to get the game, which I'd have to do some deleting and other stuff.
There's no level cap in this game.
Was there in Skyrim?
Before they came out with the Dragonborn DLC, no. Yes, there was. Afterward, when they came out with the Legendary Edition, it allowed you to legendary skills, and then you can keep leveling after that. Unfortunately, I believe it's after you hit level like 2. I think it's 256. That allows you to get all the perks, but then every level after that, you just get health, which is fine. So, this is power armor. Oh, here's a really nice little treat. Check this one out. You've got a flashlight. No more dark areas. But this is power armor. It's basically kind of like an Iron Man suit. There are different versions. Let me see if I can find a few different ones.
Thank you. It's like I can finally.
This one's the best one in the game. Not just this specific one, but this type.
The
And then-
T-45?
No. The one I end up stopping at momentarily.
Fusion Core?
No. It's X-01
Oh.
is
Oh, the
uh,
MKV1 torso?
well the whole thing. It's what you're seeing is each individual piece. So you've got the torso, the left leg, the right leg. I scroll down the list really quickly and then I go back up, and I'm slowly going down it now. So basically, what that shows is what's equipped to that power armor frame. So the frame, if I can find one, which I don't know if I have an empty one. I don't think I do. But I've done some collecting, which you'll see shortly. Just some. Those are all the same power armor, all with the same coloring on them. But you've got right here is a chemistry station, so you can create drugs. Yay, drugs. It's more or less like your potions, for the most part. You create a potion, you get effects off of it. Right here, once my robot moves, is the armor workbench. You can modify armor in some way. So, like, we'll go to this this metal left arm. So when you click on it, it'll have standard. This is all base stats. So if I click on standard, it'll have different versions of that. As you go down the list, as far as the damage resilience, it goes up. As far as what it actually does, you'd have to read just above where it says requires, which is going to be on the right. So it'll tell you what it is.
Improves damage and energy resistance for this polished metal?
Correct. So if you go to shadowed, which is going to have a different effect, it says improve stealth and darkness and damage and energy resistance. Each, depending on the piece of armor you pick up or the armor you use, will increase its effectiveness in combat. The second one is going to be basically secondary stats you can put on it. So that's going to be you can make it lighter, you can make it so you can carry more items. You've got braced, which reduces melee damage while blocking. You've got increases your unarmed damage. You've got reduces the damage your limbs take. You've got reduces radiation damage, increased steadiness when you're zoomed in with a scope. You've got power attacks drain less AP or stamina. There's a whole bunch of different ones, and all the armor is, as far as the effects that each piece of armor gets, is pretty much the same. But as far as the effectiveness, depending on the piece of armor, goes up or down. So if I had a piece of like leather armor is not going to compare to the combat armor that I have. So the second bench is a weapons bench. This is where you can modify guns. So what it'll do is it'll show you the gun that you're currently trying to modify. And then if you click on the weapon, so if I go to... So if I go to my sniper rifle, right, you can change the receiver, which will determine what type of bullet it takes. So you've got your standard frame, which is the base that it starts with, and then you've got lighter, heavier, tuned, which would increase different attributes, so to speak. So like a tuned.
Hey, I'm gonna have to ask if we can stop because my phone is dying.
Ooh, very well. Sure.
Yeah.
But I'll explain it more tomorrow if you'd like.
Yeah, that's.
But I mean, if you have questions like something that maybe you'd like to know or just didn't understand, I can explain it. Maybe it's a little bit easier. But
totally.
before I hop off though, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm still
Okay.
here.
So I'm quickly like running over to the teleporter that I built. It's the big thing that's shooting blue electricity out.
Uh-huh.
It looks like this up close. It's just there for aesthetics because I can't actually use it. Because you're technically only supposed to build one, and then you're supposed to use it, and then it breaks after you're done using it. But I built two because I had enough. But if I click, this is me clicking the center touchpad and holding it. So this is your build menu. So up top is going to be basically everything about your base. So it's going to have the amount of people that are there, how much food you have, how much water you have, the amount of electricity you have, your defense for your total base of like turrets and stuff like that. So I mean, you can see the turrets that are here. Each turret produces a amount of defense. You've got beds, which are going to be for your settlers, how happy they are. And then if you look up at the top, see how it says size? So normally, as you build, a bright green bar fills up inside of that rectangle. And once you get to the top, you can't build anymore. But there's a way around that. So like, as a quick demonstration, you have an artillery piece. So that's going to be a literally artillery cannon. And then it'll have the requirements that you need to build those. So it's going to be the same concept as Skyrim as far as for like building weapons and armor. And then it'll show you what's required underneath. It needs a person to man it for it to actually function, and it gives you 6 defense. And then it's like as like just a showing you as far as for the like individual pieces to build like a base. So you have a shack wall, which is technically like a metal wall. So you've got you need to build with it'll have how much of an item you have over how much is actually needed. So I have 72,000 pieces of wood, and I only need 3 to build it. And then for steel, I have 96,000, and I only need 4. And then up the top, where it has the parentheses, that number is how many of each of these I can build before needing more materials. So as you move it into an item, see how it goes red? Once it goes red, that basically just symbolizes you can't put it here. That's pretty much what that means. But as you move it further away or you position it properly, it'll turn green, which just symbolizes you can build it here. And we'll just use these as an example. So if I were to build this right here, immediately, either to the left or to the right, depending on how far over I am, I think, it'll snap another piece into it. Bam. That's how that works. Now, unfortunately, some of the places you get aren't as nice in snapping things directly to other pieces. You have to fiddle with it, or you have to take a piece off to put that piece and then put the piece that you had prior back on. It's a lot of fiddling, but that's a generalized concept as far as for the building goes, so you can see more or less some of the things you can do. The list as far as for what you end up building is large. you end up building, or what you can build. Like, you can even have paintings on the walls. There's so much you can do in this game as far as for the building aspect. It, like, all of this took about a year to make, and not just all of this in this one settlement. All of what I've done so far has taken about a year. It gets really, really difficult sometimes going and scavenging for items to break down into materials to use them for crafting. But there's also a way around that, which is fine. But the amount you can do in this game, Dale, I swear, is just huge. Like over here, whoops, hit the wrong button. So right over here, you've got vendor counters. So each of them being something specific. Clinics, obviously medical. You've got clothing and armor. And then you've got weapons right here, I think. Right? Yeah, weapons. So, I mean, the amount of stuff you can do in this game is just insane. You can actually take people and assign them to these, and they will sell you weapons and armor and stuff. It's really, really nice. I mean, you go over here to this piece, and you can build your own robot. Like, if I wanted to, I can change different aspects of my robot. Which, it's just insane.
You certainly know your way around a workbench.
The amount of stuff you can do in this game. As far as for consistent replayability, I would pick this over Skyrim any day. But I will let your phone charge, and you apparently, I'm assuming, would like to finish your show or watch another one and then head to bed. So
yeah,
I'll cut off there. And I'll probably actually stream this for a little while tomorrow if you would like, just to get a sense of like the whole combat and how it works, and then some of the locations you can go. I'll go to some of the big ones like Diamond City and some other ones. That way you can see the aesthetics of the game as they are over just modding it out for aesthetics. And I mean, you can do that with this game, but it gives you a sense of wonderment knowing that, granted, we aren't in a post-apocalyptic world. There's a possibility, and stuff could end up like this. It's just a thought. Like the intro, I'll end the broadcast, but the